Hi everyone, welcome back to my social media for business video series. This is video number 2. Okay, so in this one I'm going to teach you how to do a awesome 5-star LinkedIn profile. I'm going to teach you some of the things that you should definitely do, and you can compare this against what you already have for your LinkedIn profile, or you could just create it from scratch again. But before we get started, let's do a quick recap about some of the things that I said in my first video and some actual things about LinkedIn. So, as with most things, LinkedIn begins with you and your profile. It's your personal billboard. So, understand this, that if your profile is crap or boring, nobody's going to scroll down. People are going to swipe left, or is it swipe right? I don't know. I don't use Tinder. But whatever it is, they will not be bothered. Having a great LinkedIn profile, on the other hand, is the key towards conveying who you are as a real person, your personality, and what are some of the things that you believe in, opinions about your industry and about work, and so on and so forth. Because it is public, people would automatically assume the things that you put on it to be true, particularly if it's about yourself. So it can be a really powerful way to make sure that your profile is believable and trustworthy. And most importantly, because it's on social media, it's going to be accessible 24/7. So even while you're asleep, people can come on and check out who you are from different time zones. Now, we're in a world that is becoming rapidly digital. In fact, so much so that it's becoming very noisy on digital. So your personality has to stand out and be relevant to your target audience, whoever that may be, depending on your business. Now, there's a guy that I like to listen to. He's a futurist and an author. He's called Gerd Leonhardt. And he likes to say about the future that anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. So things like your personality, your beliefs, your attitudes, your wisdom, your experience, creativity, all of these things which make you uniquely you will soon become your most valuable asset. We also know these days that more and more interaction from a business perspective is actually happening online. So long before your customers actually talk to you, they are checking out your profile online, they're checking out your personality and who you are in your social media profiles. So even before they meet you, they're Googling you, they're looking at your LinkedIn profile and so on. You therefore need to ensure that the first impression that you convey online is about you as a unique individual and not just, another sales manager or marketing CMO or VP or SVP or whatever, right? How can you do this? So here's the first key thing that you need to have in terms of a mindset about this change. Imagine if I were to go to your client or your partner or your colleagues or your bosses, and if I were to ask them about you, if I were to say, tell me why they choose to work with you. What is it about you that makes you you? What makes you unique? What would they say about you? That's exactly the way you need to be thinking about your LinkedIn profile. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, as you can see here, I'm on my LinkedIn page, which I will use as an example. One of the first things that people do is to look at your profile image, right? And the main banner image over here. Let's take a look at the banner image first. This is actually amazing real estate. I mean, it takes up, let's say, 20% of your screen, maybe more. And this is literally your personal billboard. Many people do make the mistake of leaving it as the bland LinkedIn blue, right? Which is basically telling people, hey, I can't be bothered to do anything with it. Or it's telling people I don't realize that this is actually great real estate for myself. So first things first, consider putting an image that reflects your professional interest and industry, and preferably one that reflects back upon your personality in some way. So there's tons of free image resources available online. You can go to Unsplash, you can go to Canva, Pixabay, Raw Pixel. I believe Canva, as of today, has even made some of their pro images free. I'm not sure if you have to subscribe, but there's tons of image resources available, right? Including on your own phone. So you might have taken photographs at industry events or conferences or at work or something somewhere that relates back to who you are as a person in the industry that you work. I, for example, on my phone have got loads of images outside, looking out of aircraft windows and looking at the sky and looking at in airports and while I travel and so on. So consider including some of these, consider using some of these images as your banner image, right? In my case, as you can see, I've got a huge aircraft over there. Anyone coming to my profile would immediately assume, therefore, that I have something to do with travel and aviation. I have a quote right there on the top left corner, and my company logo on the top right, along with my company slogan or name, right? Basically, this is conveying through an image what I don't need to convey in words. And it's particularly effective in setting the scene for the industry that I work in. So when you come to my profile, I think you get a pretty clear idea, even without reading anything, that this guy has something to do with travel. So just a word of advice, stay away from any imagery that can be construed as insensitive, political, religious, or sexist. Those kinds of images they don't do you any good whatsoever. All right. So the next super important thing is your profile photo, where my pointer is right now. Ask yourself what you think if you went to someone's profile and you saw that their profile photo had a funny image, or it was a really old image of them or an old photo of them, or even worse, you go to a profile and there is no photo, it's just a gray box. A great photograph of yourself conveys so many unspoken things and is actually invaluable in laying the foundation for trust. How would you have a great photo? Great question. So dress up, put on a jacket, hand your phone to someone, stand against a white or a green screen background, and just click away. Click many photographs in different poses. Touch yourself up if you have to. And that's it. Take the photo and go edit it with some filters. Just don't make it improbable or weird. Or if you want, go outside when you can, not right now, but go outside and get a professional headshot taken for you. My tip for that is get at least 6 to 8 versions. If you're going to pay for a professional headshot, get 6 to 8 different versions. Try to bring along 2 different jackets and have 2 or 3 different backgrounds, preferably one outdoors. Do this once so that you can save your headshots for use over the next maybe a couple of years or something. The next important thing is your headline. So over here where, as you can see for me, it says enabling transformation and customer excellence in travel, retail, and aviation. Think of this as someone asking you to describe yourself in 10 seconds or less, right? So the number of characters is not the point. The point is, think of this as your personal blurb, your soundbite, or just your calling card. What is it that you do? What is it that you would like to be remembered for? Or what is it that you think you are delivering in terms of an impact to your industry? Don't just leave this as your title. I believe LinkedIn defaults this to your latest job title. Now, why do I tell you not to do that? Because if it's your title, there are hundreds, thousands, maybe tens of thousands, and sometimes hundreds of thousands, or maybe even millions of others with exactly the same title as you. If you go on LinkedIn and if you check out CEOs, they're like over 3 million. Same with CMOs. There's like a few 100,000 SVPs and VPs of marketing and sales and so on. So, you need to make it memorable, right? Some people say, I help small and medium-sized companies build great go-to-market strategies. And that's good. That's not bad, because it's very clear. Somebody coming to your profile will know immediately what you do. Some people give themselves monikers, right? Like some people like me are slashers. I used to have a lot of slashes in here. I would say, for example, travel / aviation / retail / whatever. It really doesn't matter. Beyond a point, I think what matters is that think of this as the headline of the story that you want to tell about yourself. You are the main character, so you need to put something here that is memorable and remarkable about yourself. So this brings us to the next section. This section over here, the About section. You might want to remember this was called Experience in the past, but LinkedIn changed it sometime in 2019 to About. So this is meant to be about you. Not just the work that you do and where you work and a summary of your accomplishments. I mean, that's okay. You can put some of that there, but that's not all who you are. You are a lot more than just, your accomplishments at work. So it's about what you like, what you do, what makes you tick, what makes you different, what is your personality, what is it built upon. You might want to include things that are part of who you are outside of work. Drama, charity, skydiving, technology geek, aviation geek, whatever, it doesn't matter. Basically, anything that helps to round out your personality. In my case, as you can see, let me just expand it over here. In my case, as you can see, I put a bit of a story. I give people an insight into the things that have made me who I am today. I specifically want to convey an impression of the paradigms I use for thinking through problems and situations, how I tackle challenges and change. And in the end, I basically, over here, I say, I use a term that probably not many people would have heard of. And I challenge people to connect with me and ask me about that. I'm trying to, it's kind of like it's bait, but it's not clickbait, right? It's basically challenging people to connect with me and to initiate a conversation. I have roughly a 70 to 80% hit rate for connections, which means that out of every 10 people I reach out to connect to, 7 to 8 of them respond to me positively. I'm not trying to say that's because of what I've written here in my About section, but I'd like to think that it has something to do with the fact that people come to my profile and they find it interesting. Now, at the bottom here of this About section, over here, you can see I've got 6 little rectangular grids. This is where you can actually feature some of your work. As you can see in my case, I featured my writing, my presentations, videos, and basically you can do the same. You can put anything else that helps to convey your expertise. This is really, really impactful and vital because it's like having a mini microsite of your talent displayed at the bottom of your About profile. It's basically additional real estate for you to enhance your visibility by showcasing the work that you do. Then we come to the area over here that you can edit, and it's called the experience. And as it suggests, it's about, this is probably the part that most people find really, really easy because most people just go into their CVs and they cut and they paste. The titles are simple, just use your official title at work or from your business. And essentially, this is the section that allows you to factually describe what you do, how you help your clients and your customers, what work you do for your company, what products and services or solutions are offered by you and your organization, and so on. Now, just a word of advice. I've seen many people include awards and stuff like that over here, and I think that's okay. I mean, I get it that you're trying to convey, how good you are or how successful you have been or how you're really, number 1 or number 2 at something. But here's the thing, many people do the same thing. So what? I mean, what makes you different from somebody else who's also won an award, who's also number 1 or who's also number 2? That's the question I challenge you to think about, right? So when you write your experience, keep that in mind. I mean, it's fine to say that you're number 1 or number 2 or you're the best or you're the biggest or whatever it is, but think about your unique proposition that differentiates you from everyone else who might also have won that award in previous years. What value have you added, for example, and what impact have you had for your customers? Share what you can share. I think these are the things that you need to be putting in here based on the work experience that you have. This is also the place, by the way, the experience section. This is also the place where you need to use the right keywords and industry terminology. Now, not jargon, but industry terminology. Why? Because anyone from the industry reading it will identify with the terminology that you use and believe you, right? And secondly, all of this content is actually indexed by Google and by LinkedIn. So whenever so whatever you put in here is actually going to help you shore up or make your Google and LinkedIn profiles a lot more searchable, discoverable, rank higher in terms of search, right? So in simple terms, it means people can actually find you really, really easily. How's that for a secret, not so secret hack? Great if you're looking for a job too, by the way. Now, if we scroll all the way down, we come to a section here called Education. Filling this out accurately helps LinkedIn to understand how it can suggest alumni or other people to connect with you. So it's a great way to let the algorithm of LinkedIn work on your behalf to build your network for you. It's the same with licenses and certifications, awards and skills, right? Over here, as you keep scrolling down, licenses and certifications, awards, skills, and so on. So more content here means more detail, and content here means higher searchability for you and your profile. Make sure that you put in the skills that you are certified in, and particularly if they're technical and differentiated from everybody else. This is how recruiters search for you. And frankly, lots of people who talk to me mention some skills that either I have put up or been endorsed for by other people. And speaking of endorsements, that's really, really important. Having the skills up there, all these skills here, which you could actually expand if you show it here. Having all these skills, so this is a whole long list of skills, which as you can see, I have filled out. It allows your network to actually start endorsing you for those skills. Now, a little tip here, what I do is every couple of months or so, I go in here and I start to reprioritize some of the skills that show up. Because if you notice, not all the skills show up. So here it shows the 3 top skills, right? And top in the sense that you could actually choose which 3 to highlight. What I do is I keep cycling through some of the skills that allow people to come in and then rate me for those skills. And so I build up the number of endorsements that I have on those skills. Like if I'm at 99, nobody can endorse me anymore. So if I'm on 87 for something, or 89 or 80, I put it here and then I keep getting that until I hit 99. So that's a little bit of a hack that you can follow. Now, the next main section is recommendations. This is one of the main things that people have trouble with, or frankly, they ignore completely on their profiles. I can't tell you how many profiles I've been to where I've seen industry specialists and professionals, and then I go down and I see they have 0 recommendations. Recommendations are really, really important because they are like your personal Amazon ratings, right? It's like Amazon 5-star ratings. If you find a product on Amazon and it's got loads of 5-star ratings, you're going to buy it. You're not going to think twice. It's the same thing with you. So not just from your colleagues and business partners, but try to get them from your bosses. Try to get them from clients and customers as well. Nothing like a customer to recommend you in public on your profile, right? Especially if it backs everything that you have said about yourself up there. If a client can endorse all of that, it's fantastic because it means there is trustability and there is likability. Somebody is more likely to trust you based on what other people have said about you. Now, the trick here is also to make sure that you have up-to-date recommendations. There is no point, we're in 2020, there's no point that your recommendations stop at 2005 or 2010, right? So you need to try to accumulate this at least once every few months. My suggestion is to do it once every 6 months. What you should do is write to, let's say, 5 people at a time and ask them to recommend you, because chances are only one of them, about a 20% or 10% hit rate, only one of them is really gonna get back to you with a recommendation. Whenever you do some piece of work for a client, or whenever you've spoken to someone influential and you know you've made an impact, ask them face to face, would you mind writing a little recommendation for me on LinkedIn? And then, once you get back home, just send them a little message on LinkedIn and say, hey, remember that little thing. I'd be really grateful if you can do me a favor and write me a small recommendation based on the discussion we've had, or based on the work that I've done for you, based on the consulting I've done for you, and so on, right? If you're looking for a job, talk to some of your colleagues or your bosses in your previous company, or talk to some of the clients that you may have handled in your previous company and ask them to pitch in and maybe write a few lines about you. Now, the thing is here, you have a chance to look at what they've written and request for a rewrite. Be careful about what you accept. Read what they have written about you. There's some funny cases of people actually just hitting publish, and then somebody's actually said something really nasty about them. So just be wary about that. Okay, now here are some other things to note. What I want to do now is I want to go through some of the settings to your profile that's going to help you just round this up and make this kind of a 5-star profile. So if you go back to the top bar, under your name, under me, click on the arrow and this opens up, right? Go under account, as you can see, click on settings and privacy, and you will have a second tab that opens up to this. What you can do here now is you can control most things in relation to your account, the privacy settings, the advertising that you receive, and the communications that you receive. I'm not going to go through account related settings because these are private to you, but I will recommend that you check them out one by one to make sure that you're comfortable with the settings, particularly under this section, login and security, right? If you look on the site preferences, these are some of the interesting things that you should be looking at. Showing profile photos, I put everyone because I just want to see what everyone looks like. I think, remember this is social media, so you need to be social. It would be great if you could see people's photos and if they could see your photos. Feed preferences is something that I'm going to do a special video on later at some point. This basically allows you to create what you see in your social media feed. So this is a great way to actually curate to a large extent what you see in your feed, and I'll do a separate video on that. But feel free to play around with it in the meantime. Name, location, and industry. Now this is important. Use this as a checklist to ensure that you have the right target information here for yourself. This is important because it's going to help you get discovered by the right target companies that you aspire to connect with or to do business with or maybe to get a job with, right? Let's move on to privacy. So this is actually the key tab that I want to deal with on this video. So the first two things, edit your public profile and who can see your email address. This is one way for you to edit your profile. You could otherwise do it directly from here as well by clicking on the pencil icons. But if you don't want to do that, you can actually do it from here as well. Now, one of the things that I want to highlight is this one, who can see your connections. I've put it to only you. And the reason for that is I don't necessarily want people coming onto my profile and then looking at all of my connections. I don't want people to see who my connections are. But really, that's up to you. If you don't mind, then you could change that to have it open to everyone. But the other key one is this one. Viewers of this profile also viewed. Now, I'll show you what this means. I come back to my profile, and if you look at this on this side over here on the right hand side of the screen, you can see that it says here, people also viewed. Now, there's a long list of people here, some of them quite famous, Alex Cruz and so on. And this basically suggests that people who have viewed my profile also view the profiles of these people. Now, I used to think this is a great thing, but I've recently decided to turn it off. And this is how you turn it off, and I'll just explain to you why I've turned it off. So it says here, yes, as you can see, viewers of this profile have also viewed. I'm just going to change that to no. Then I'm going to close it. I'm going to go back, and then I am going to refresh the page. And there you go. So now you can see all those other profiles of all those other people are missing. Now, why do I do that? Okay, I don't want to encourage people who come to my profile to look at other people's profiles and go and get distracted and click on their profiles and go away from mine. So this is kind of a defensive strategy, and this is why I do it. I would recommend that you turn it off as well. You're not going to lose anything by turning it off. If anything, you're going to help keep people onto your profile. And that's how you turn it off. I showed you there, right? You go there, you click on change, click to no, and that's how you do it. Now, the next thing that you can do is actually personalize your profile address. It's much better to do this than to leave it as the LinkedIn default. And the way to do it is you come here back to your profile, and you can either click on the pencil icon or you can click here, edit public profile in URL. So if I were to click on it, that's what happens. And you can see over here, I've put mine as Hong Kong Travel Social Media Management Consultant. Now, if you don't know this, if you've never changed it, it's likely to be some version of your name, or part of your name, and a long string of numbers. If you change it to something that you want, for example, mine used to be Vimal Rai. It's great because it helps you with your Google searches, with SEO, and so on. So it helps with discoverability. I play around with mine a lot, and so I've actually decided to do away with my name, and I use this one now. Feel free to do this. Click on the pencil icon and change it to whatever you want. Here are some of the other things that you might want to look at. Who can see your last name? What else do we have? So I put it to full, representing your organization's yes. Look, at the end of the day, what you want is maximum visibility. So you want people to find you. You want them to understand what is the work that you do. You want them to understand which organizations you have worked for in the past, and so on. So go through all of these. Feel free to click through and make yourself discoverable. Essentially, is the message here. So if you look at profile visibility of LinkedIn, again, I put this as yes because I want to be as visible as possible. Microsoft Word, if you use MS Word, it can throw up some resume examples for you. So I put that as yes. How others see your LinkedIn activity, this also impacts how discoverable you are online, and this is really, really important. I choose to have my full profile visible for everybody. The one thing here that I would recommend you change is the sharing of job changes, education changes, work anniversaries. And the reason why I've put mine to no, as you can see, is, LinkedIn automatically, if this is a yes, LinkedIn automatically updates your first degree network with any change that you make to your experience profile or to your about section, if you change your title and so on and so forth. That can actually be quite spammy. So a lot of us who use LinkedIn put it to no. Basically, the idea is you don't need to let everybody know every time you change something. And the worst thing is that if you change spellings or if you change employer names, you don't want that multiple notifications go out to everybody in your network all the time. It's actually quite irritating. So I recommend you turn it off. Notifying connections when you're in the news, definitely a yes. Mentions or tags by others, definitely a yes. Go through all of these things and see how comfortable you are with various things. Now, if you're searching for a job, this is where it's important. Now, here's something I just want to show you. If you're searching for a job and you're watching this, if we go back to my profile, you can see here below my name, it's effectively blank and then about. If you're searching for a job, this is something you can do. So if you see here under job seeking preferences, this is the important bit. What you want to do is you want to go through your job application settings, click on it, make sure your email is updated. You can actually save a few versions of your CVs. This is the important bit, letting recruiters know that you're open for business, open to opportunities. So I recommend you click on that. If you're a job seeker, make sure that's a yes. All right. Close it. And let's see what changes on our profile. So as you can see, this is the profile before. Let me reload it and you'll see what's changed. There you go. So you see open to job opportunities, see all details. If you click on that, let me just scroll up. Now you can actually fill this out. So you can fill out all the job titles, job locations and whatever, and you can have this visible only to recruiters, right? So I recommend if you're looking for a job that you definitely click on this and you fill out all the job locations that you want to be based in, all the job types, full-time, contract, part-time, yada yada, all the job titles that you're interested in, and then save it. And I'm sorry, I can't do that without filling it out. So the reason why that's important is that when recruiters look, they'll see that you're open for opportunities and they'll see what kind of roles you're open for. So that's a pretty powerful setting for you to have if you're looking for a job. Sharing your profile, when you click to apply, make sure that's a yes. And you can fill in all the other things. You're welcome to go through all of them yourself. So that's pretty much it. If you follow some of this advice, or if you follow all of this advice, and if you play around a little bit, you find that you've got a pretty awesome LinkedIn profile. Some of the main things, again, just to recap: your profile photo, the background photo, the About Me section, your work experience, your education. Remember to tell a story about who you are and not just what you do. If you're giving awards and licenses and certifications, please also talk about the impact that those have had on your clients, and then go through some of the nitty-gritties in this section on the settings that will make sure that your profile is a lot more visible to people, so that when you post stuff and when people find you, they come to an interesting looking profile. So in my next video, I'm going to be talking about how you should be tracking, targeting, and connecting with people that you intend to talk to, either for business or for jobs. I'll give you some tips and tricks on what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing. Remember how to find and connect with people that you want to connect to. I hope you've enjoyed this video series so far. It's my second video. Look out for the third. If you have any questions, please write back to me, either on LinkedIn, connect with me. My profile is right there. Put a comment in YouTube. Remember to share this with your friends if you know someone's looking. Subscribe, and of course, please do get back to me if you have questions. I'll be very happy to help. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye.